Hey everybody. So for today's movie review, I'm going to talk about the film Safety Not Guaranteed. It's a film that's directed by a man who's going to direct Jurassic Park for next summer. In Safety Not Guaranteed, you guys, we follow a young girl played by Aubrey Plaza, something like that. She was Julie Powers in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, for those who've seen that. Um, she's looking for employment, and she's getting turned down by a lot of places. A lot of people do not want to hire her, but she does end up finding a job at a magazine company as one of the journalists. And they're looking for something new to write in the magazine. And they hear about this thing in the newspaper where this guy claims that he can travel back in time. But for those who want to do this with him, they have to bring their own weapons. They have to, they're basically on their own, and it says safety not guaranteed. And he claims that he only did it once, but he can do it again with whoever's interested. Um, so the Audrey Plaza character and two other people, an Indian guy and a guy that's like really into sex. He's really sexually active. He joins the group. So these three kind of rent a hotel near where this guy lives, and the the really sexual guy tries to be the first person to be the one of the time travel candidates for this guy. Gets turned down. The guy doesn't like him, but the Audrey Plaza character tries it out, and she is able. She kind of catches his attention. She does it in a more interesting way than the other guy did, and so they kind of go over some training things. He wants to make sure that he has some trust with her, so he when he's traveling back in time with her, they can trust each other as they go on this adventure. Um, and So basically, and over time too, the two kind of tell each other like more secrets about themselves, and they get closer to each other. And if you really put the pieces together, I don't want to spoil it, but basically something happens between these two people that gets fully formed near the end of the movie. And there's certain things about both characters where they kind of find out things as the film goes on about each other that maybe they didn't want to know, or they did want to know, or they surprisingly found out about each other. It's a really interesting film about two people that are really flawed but very gifted at the same time. So I really enjoyed this film, you guys. It was very interesting. I wouldn't say it's an original concept, but it's a very interesting concept. It's a time travel romance story. So that alone is kind of interesting. Um, it was an independent film. I think it had only a limited release. I don't think it had a wide release. Only a certain theaters got it. I don't remember like getting. I don't remember like Marcus theaters or any of those kind of mainstream theaters getting this movie. Um, but I do remember like some limited theaters like Sundance and all that kind of stuff had this film. So for the positives and negatives, you guys, the film had a great concept, like I said. Just really interesting, approach to a movie. It's just something new brought to the table. Like I said, not really original, but it's interesting. The Audrey Plaza character and the horny journalists were great in this. Loved almost every scene with them. They were in character the whole movie. Um, really brought a lot of life to the film, and I really appreciate that. The Indian journalist had brought a lot of comic relief to the film. Um, there were scenes where the horny journalist kind of taught him, kind of to be like a ladies' man because he kind of like didn't know how to interact with women very well, and so this other guy is trying to teach him how to be more involved with things and kind of get out there and let people know your name better. Um, and so throughout the film, he was kind of the guy that was always kind of step backed and was there for the business strictly. Didn't want to be a part of the drinking. Didn't want to be a part of the sex. Didn't want to be a part of the drugs. Because one of the guys did cocaine throughout the film. It's done in a very tastefully way, though. It's done in a very dark comedic way, but it's fun. Um, The special effects use in this, it's there's not a lot of special effects in this, but on the scenes where there are special effects, they do work very well. I don't want to say which scene specifically has the best use of special effects, but it's really spectacular once you see it. Um, and how they incorporate time travel and how they kind of how this guy kind of convinces the Audrey Plaza character that time travel works, how certain people are here and they're interacting with in certain ways and they have a certain result that's current, and he strongly believes it's from the time travel and stuff that they're about to do. um, so really interesting. And what's kind of interesting too is a lot of this time travel stuff. It's not very. They don't go very far in the past. So whenever he time travels or talks about his time travels, um, he doesn't go like back to the gladiators or back to the dinosaurs. He talks about it. But it's more the more recent stuff. I'd say nothing earlier than like maybe the late '90s. I think he went back to like the early 2000s, back when he was telling this girl about when he actually did time travel for the first time. And I liked the indie film feeling of this film, you guys. It definitely had an independent feeling. Definitely made you question like if the film was actually you were actually gonna see the time travel in here. Um, you won't be disappointed if you do want to see it. But it's done a very tastefully way. There's not a lot of it, but when it happens, it's very interesting. Um, for negatives, you guys, I felt the film was a little bit too short. Um, this film was only like an hour and 26 minutes. So they could have fit in a lot more. And when I get to the more negatives here, there's a lot of things I think they could have expanded upon to make the film even better. Because where it currently stands, there's enough things going on in this film where making it short isn't quite enough to get that story across. They get a lot of stuff done within the time frame they chose. But I think if they added just another 20 minutes to the film, I think they could have accomplished a lot more with the story. The film's storyline is a little predictable. It's a very predictable execution, unfortunately. Um, if you tried to guess what the storyline was before watching the film, more than likely you're right. If you watch the trailer for this film, you're probably going to catch on right away exactly how the film plays out. So maybe the trailer gave too much away. Who really knows? But maybe just the storyline itself has been done so many times, but it's with time travel this time. So a little predictable in that department, but it doesn't really hurt the film too much. Um, I felt the Indian journalist and the time traveler himself had a lot of missed opportunities in this. I think the Indian journalist could have been a more developed character rather than just kind of the comic relief that's always picked on by the very sexual journalist. He was just kind of the lamb for slaughter in this film. Like he was just kind of there for the joke strictly for another character, and as soon as that joke was done, he just kind of disappeared for a while. And with the time traveler, he was just kind of a jerk. I mean, like um, besides the Audrey Plaza character, he really didn't. He wasn't really nice around anybody else, and there was just a lot of things about him. I was just like, oh, I wouldn't want to be around this jerk. I don't care if he can time travel or not. I mean, he's a complete jerk. Um, so I think those two characters, the Indian journalist was fine, but I just would have liked to have seen because they do a lot more things with him near the end of the film, and like I said, because the film is so short, we don't get to see that expansion continued even further. So basically, when we do start to see him open up a little bit, the film is close to the end, and it loses its opportunity to mainly expand this character even further. Um, the time traveler felt too untrustworthy and unlikable to me, like I was explaining earlier. I really think the time traveler character really could have been improved upon. They got the story done right. I guess he kind of served his purpose, but I just think maybe making him a more interesting character would have been it would really help the film out a lot more. Maybe he's nicer to people. Maybe he is mean to the one guy before Audrey Plaza was kind of his time travel candidate. But um, yeah, he just seems so isolated from everybody, and it just I don't know. I think they could have done something different with him. But for the most part, guys, Safety Not Guaranteed is a very well done film. If you like independent films, this is definitely one worth seeing. If you like time travel, if you like romance, Great things to like if you want to go see this film. 8.5 out of 10 for me. Like I said, very good film. Don't know if I would watch it multiple times. I don't know if it's that kind of a film, but it's definitely worth experiencing once, at least once, maybe even twice. Very well done film. Like I said, if you like time travel, you're going to like this one a lot. Don't expect a lot of it, like I said, but when they talk about it, when they have special effects in the film, it's truly something spectacular to look at. Um, so, safety not guaranteed, you guys. I do recommend the film.